You know what the real challenge is not to fall into those cliche traps. When we're reviewing cars, let's say it's a French car, what do we say? French flair. If we're driving in a Toyota, we're talking about rugged reliability. When it comes to reviewing Chinese brands, we're normally harping on about they've come so far and watch out for them in the future, blah, blah, blah. The fact of the matter is, a brand like GWM is a serious player in South Africa. With 70 dealers nationwide and a whole host of new models that they've brought to the market, they want to be taken seriously. So with that in mind, we thought we're going to review the new GWM C30 seriously. So let's have a look at the GWM C30 and identify the key selling points as GWM see it. For them, very important specification, and the car does really come very, very well spec'd. Front and rear fog lights come as standard. Got electric mirrors that are color-coded with indicators on them as well. Electric windows all round. Very, very nice that it does come with a USB port as well as Bluetooth connectivity, which is mounted on the steering wheel. Actually quite easy. I literally just went on my Bluetooth and patched straight in. So that worked pretty well, which is cool. Comes with air conditioning, although I do find it quite tricky in terms of trying to see what you are selecting as you go along. So very, very well spec'd. Even the layout of the interior for me isn't bad at all. It's very clean, very simple. They talk about the nice black cloth material that they've used, and the seats do look good. They've even brought in some black fascia trim details. But then I don't know why on earth they would feel the need to bring in the silver detailing on the side of the doors and around the center cluster. Stick to the black, it would have made it look so much better. Of course, it wouldn't be a Chinese car without a couple of quirky elements. My favorites, I love an armrest when I drive. This armrest also works as a center storage binnacle, but have a look at that. That's kind of as far as it goes. So in reality, if I actually want to drive and never get anything out, I literally would need to unclip my seatbelt, turn around and be able to access it. Part of the quirkiness. But GWM is making a lot of noise about the space in the C30. So even though it fits into the compact B segment category, they reckon with the dimensions, you're actually looking more at a C segment vehicle. Getting into the back, I can't argue with them. Legroom is really, really good. The driving seat is in my driving position and there's tons of legroom. Headroom is quite tight though, especially when you consider where the headrests are and how low that little back section is. I actually can't get my head to the headrest. But other than that, pretty comfortable and well laid out. And of course, the big thrilling point for them is the boot. Let's take a look. So 465 liters is, okay, that's also one other thing that does irritate me. If I want to show you the boots, I need to use the key or pop the lid from inside. Anyway, so where were we? Boot space, 465 liters, pretty impressive. What has given them more space, they've gone with a space saver wheel. Is that the right thing to do in South Africa? It's a trade-off, I suppose. Problem for me though is the boot is pretty deep, so you've got quite a high rear bumper to load when you get into the boot area. Even though it does come with a 2-year AA roadside assistance, don't phone them if you get a flat tire and you can't find the jack, because the jack isn't in the boot. It's under the passenger seat. What has proven to be a bit of a challenge for me is getting a really comfortable driving position in the C30. Yes, the steering is adjustable, but I don't have any reach on it. And I do find that you sit quite SUV-like in the car, pretty high up. So for someone like me, it doesn't leave me with too much headroom, and then the steering wheel ends up sitting quite low on my legs. So that's a bit of a challenge. Other than that, the seats are really comfortable, and everything instrumentation-wise is where you'd need it to be. In terms of engine, it's that tried and tested 1.5 VVTi engine that they run pretty much throughout their entire range. That is a good thing because we know it's dependable, we know it works fairly well. So there's no risk or stress for a potential new customer. It's got 71 kilowatts, 138 Newton meters of torque. It's not a lot. Fortunately, it is running with a 5-speed manual box, so it does allow you to milk out every little bit of power out of the car, and you're going to need it, especially driving up here on the reef. But all in all, I'm very impressed with the gearbox. It really feels solid. There's no silly play that you find on the clutch and the gearbox, and it really is well suited to the engine. From a steering perspective, Yeah, it's what we've come to expect. It's fairly light, but then again, the person who's driving this car is going to be very happy with it. It's very easy to drive around town, and that's really where the C30 is going to be spending most of its time. From a safety perspective, it's what we've come to know now with GWM. Comes with ABS, with EBD as well, twin airbags, and they rave about the fact that it's got a Chinese NCAP 5-star rating. Don't know what that means from a European NCAP rating status, whether it be a 3-star or possibly a 4-star, but it's got stars nonetheless. So the only key selling feature from GWM's perspective we haven't touched on yet is of course the price. The C30, 180,000 Rand. That could be their biggest problem. You see, this is a super competitive segment and all of the top players are very well represented. Honda is there with the Ballard, we've got Kia with the Rio, we've got Hyundai with the Accent. Of course, Toyota is well represented. They've just brought the Corolla Quest to the market at 175,000 Rand. Doesn't have all the spec, but it's Toyota, it's got that brand. This could be their biggest problem. All of the cars are at the same price. So the question to you as a consumer, are you committed enough to the GWM brand? And is the little bit extra space enough to make you buy the C30?